Welcome to the Fresh and Fired Up podcast. I'm your host, Dr. Emily Marshall, here to help you function at your best in health, fitness, and business. Sometimes I say business, sometimes I say life. Oh my gosh, I don't know. All of the things that you're working on, right? All of those things. We want to help. I am here with my co-host, Haley Pindle. She is the rock star online fitness and nutrition coach that we are going to be hearing all about today. So, hi, Haley. Let's get fired up.
Hi, everybody. Prefacing, Em is dealing with a concussion still, so bear with us. She may miss a few words mid-sentence.
Yes, and when I say the wrong word, I will just self-correct. I mean, I do that when I'm not concussed, but it just gets a little worse when I am. So, okay, quick backstory. I am a recovering
addict.
I was going to say retired. I am a retired national level gymnast, right? And so you can imagine a full 20 years of gymnastics. I have hit my head more than once, not just in gymnastics, but, like whiplashing myself, wakeboarding. And I've been in several car accidents that were pretty bad. So I've actually had a lot of concussions in my life. And if you know anything about concussions, once you've had several, you can re-aggravate them more easily. And so what I did was I still coach kids gymnastics, and I am like a lot more powerful than I realized. Like, I haven't been on the uneven bars in a while, and I swung really hard demonstrating a skill, and I totally overshot it and ended up off the uneven bars and landing on my face on the ground. In which case I was laughing my head off in the moment. And so was the other coach. We were just like, we could not stop laughing. I feel like it mortified all the 10 to 12-year-old kids that were like, we don't want to try that. So I had to get up and do it again and, show them, don't be scared after you fall. But then the next day, the symptoms clearly showed up. I was like, oh yeah, I hit my head. Thankfully, I've been getting adjustments. Chiropractic can be very helpful for that. So that's my chiropractic plug. And there are things you can do to really help your brain heal faster. Rest is one of them, right, Haley?
Yes, which you have been doing lots of, right?
I'm super great at that. Cheers. Look, I've even got my nice.
We're the exception. It's fine. The rules are accepted.
Yeah, exactly. So that's what's going on in my world. But I want to know what's going on in your world, Haley.
In the crazy world of Hilly P.
Yeah.
So what's going on in my world? Really working. Not much.
You literally work all the time.
I know. I'm really bad for that. However,
you're obsessed.
I love it. It's great. And actually, I do have an update. So it's funny because I feel like I could just be like struggling and no one will know on Instagram or on social media because it's such a highlight reel. But a team member of mine had a kind of complicated pregnancy and it was very scary for her. Fun fact, also, her beautiful baby was born on the best day ever, which is my birthday.
Oh, did I miss your birthday? I didn't know when your birthday was. When's your birthday?
April 15th.
Oh no. Okay, I'm gonna send you something late.
Tisk. I sat there like on my couch and I was like, gosh, Emily never texted me today. I'm so sad. When's
my birthday?
February.
Oh my goodness, you don't know either, so we are even.
When is your birthday?
Do you actually want to know?
Yeah.
June 2nd.
Oh my gosh, great. I don't have to miss that.
You haven't missed it yet. Woohoo!
Woo woo. Sweet. Anyways, so she had some complications with her baby and pregnancy and literally almost died, which was crazy. Anyway, she's been off for about half a month. So I've been running around myself because when you have a team member off and you have to pick up the slack, and I feel like any business owner listening can relate to that. Just be like, you know what, you're going to be in the gutters now and there's nothing you can do about it because it's your business and you have to do it. Anyways, she's back and I feel so much more energized and now I can actually focus on the things that I need to do and not having that be by the wayside. But
that's so good. And okay, I have a little thing to add into that because if it's a massive company, right, and you're like, okay, there's 300 employees and one person is away or two people are away, it's like, you maybe don't notice as much depending on their role, right?
Yeah.
But if you have like three, this is how we say it to our staff. If we have 3 employees that would be like a 300-person company. That would be like 100 people being away on the same day. I
Yeah.
think that really like drives the point home, right?
Yeah.
It's a third of the workforce.
Exactly. Exactly. And she's a huge part of my business. So it was tough, but honestly, I didn't mind just kind of coasting. It was just kind of
Yeah,
treading above water. And there's seasons where you're not going to grow, and that's totally okay. It's just good to maintain. And I'm excited that she's back,
that's great. Yeah.
mostly. So,
Well, and I want to get more into what you have going on with your business. We were talking recently about feeling good in our bodies, right? And a lot of women can struggle with body image. I mean, I'm sure men have their struggles too. I just don't know what they are as well since we are women.
height.
Right?
I believe it's height.
Oh, it's height. You're right. It totally is. That's a tough one.
Unfortunately, you can't change that though. So, unless you
Shoot.
put those
Yeah.
little insoles in your shoes, and
Sorry,
then you
guys.
can, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, whatever. This isn't
But
for you.
what are the big ones that come up for women with their body image?
Weight, numbers, huge, body comments. So there's kind of a spectrum of clientele that I work with, and like some of them are on fat loss journeys, and they're kind of uncomfortable in terms of like the integrity they hold with themselves. And they know they can be better, and they're at a body composition where they're not super proud of. And so they can get in the side of their head, like they see a certain number, maybe that's like oh my gosh, I'm 200 pounds. Like then they get inside of their head and they think that they're not worthy. It's a lot to do more with worthiness rather than just the number itself. And then I have clients as well who are like trying to gain weight, gain muscle. And again, the scale can kind of play with your mind a little bit, but also comments from other people. So, in terms of like period recovery, I talk about that a lot. Women will be gaining some weight, and say you go back to your house or your hometown for Christmas, and everyone's like, "Oh my, you've gained weight," and sort of, and you can kind of take it as a negative. And some people are really embedded in that diet culture, and they're like, oh, you let yourself go. And some people don't have the best relationship with their family members, and no boundaries. So there's two kind of spectrums that I kind of deal with clients, but those are the two things that I see so much of. And again, it's got so much to do with your self-worth, and not at all really to do with the weight or the number itself, if that
Where do
makes
you
sense.
think that comes from? Like, do you think it's that need for external validation?
I think that's a part of it. I think it's also to do a lot with self image. Like, where do you hold your value? I kind of illustrate this. If you can think of a pie chart, a lot of the times we base a lot of our self worth on how the external world views us. So that will be weight, what you consume food. And it's interesting because that's a very big thing that people like to control, and that's one of the things that you can control. Like, you can't control your outside world. So when your outside world feels like it's falling apart or you're losing control of that, I see a lot of people control their food intake and control their body, and you get hyper focused on it and hyper fixated on it. And when you think about it, like if you stare at your foot for too long, it starts to look distorted,
Yeah.
right? And so if you're paying attention to your body and you're looking at it for too long, you're staring at it in the mirror, it starts to look distorted to you. So the more attention you pay to it, the more body dysmorphia you can have. And yeah,
Explain
so
body dysmorphia, just in case
but
someone's never heard that term before.
yeah, it's just you never are satisfied with your body. You always think there's something wrong with it, and you're super uncomfortable with your body and how it looks. So I feel like everyone can experience that to some extent. And just because you don't like certain parts of your body doesn't mean that you have body dysmorphia. Like, it's a very normal human thing to not like parts of yourself, and that's totally normal and okay. But it's more of the extreme of that, where you're never satisfied with anything. And a lot of people who have body dysmorphia also deal with eating disorders. So like anorexia, like people think they're always fat. And so they're constantly dieting until they get to a point where it's like dangerous, right? But they still think that they're fat. That's a good example of really extreme body dysmorphia.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, it's interesting that you say that because when I think about wardrobe with that, I find that's a big one for me. If I've had fluctuations in my body size through pregnancies, like pre, post pregnancy, while you're pregnant, right? Like there's just this massive change. And a lot of it for me, well, and this is interesting, right? Having started Frexy with the jackets and like finding things that fit your shoulders right so you don't feel like fat guy in a little coat, like that type of
Mhm.
feeling where your body's restricted or things are too tight. I've seen this with bathing suits as well. If you get the right or wrong fit, like no matter how thick you are or thin you are, if you have a bikini, let's say, that like digs in a lot around your waist, even if you're skinny and it's digging in, it might make you feel bigger than you are, right? And it's just kind of interesting, like getting something that lays right on you is such a huge deal. I find anyways, that's a huge one for me. There's times when I'm like, okay, I need to go pants shopping because none of my pants are fitting right and it's messing with my mind. And I know that I'm not like I'm in a healthy range for my body, for how much muscle I have on my body, how much adipose tissue I have on my body, all of that. And really all it is like my size has fluctuated and I just need to have the right clothes. And that
Yeah.
helps so much with my brain.
100%. I feel that too. Where you know, you've got jeans that are too small for you, or I feel a lot of people too get in their head about, oh, I was this weight when I was a teenager. Like, you're not a teenager anymore.
Yeah.
Like, it's okay for your body to change and morph, and it's okay for your pant size to go up maybe a couple sizes. Like, it's not the end of the world. But if your pants and your shirt is not sitting well, you could be in a conversation and all you're thinking about is your clothes sitting weird on your body, and you're not being present with your relationships. You're not being present with that conversation. So it can really take a hold on your entire life, and you're not showing up in other parts of your life the way you would want to, maybe your career, your relationships, whatever it may be.
Yeah.
But it can really affect you in more ways than you think if you are being hyper fixated on your body and
It's
clothes play.
distracting.
Yeah,
That's
it can
like,
be.
okay, I have a few like testimonials to add in here. That's like when we did our photo shoot and I kept asking you guys about my hair. Like, how's my hair? Is my hair okay? I have like, if I'm gonna feel a little bit obsessive about something in a scenario like that, it'll almost be distracting, my hair. And it's like, it comes from other times when people have made comments on my hair or doing a gymnastics career where, if your hair starts to fall out during competition, you lose points and like, whatever. It's so interesting how things can kind of get stuck in our head that have happened previously that even though like I'm a pretty confident personality, but there's still things that I'm like, oh my gosh, why am I obsessing over this? It's not that big a deal. Like your hair is out of place a bit. No one else is noticing. Why are you thinking about it? Right. So it could be your waistline, could be your hair, like anything about your body. And I think it's working with what you have, but then also not comparing yourself. Cause I think another thing for me with my hair, this ties into body size because my hair last summer was really thin. Like I was a lot more broken out and my hair was really thin and I was kind of self-conscious of it. And, but I was skinnier. So now this year, none of my shorts fit, but my hair is thicker, my skin is clearer, I have more energy. So see the trade-off? So I can sit there and be like, oh, none of my shorts fit. Like I'm too chunky, right? But I'm
Yeah,
like, yeah, but remember last summer how you were more anxious and your hair was falling out? Like which one would you prefer?
exactly. And there's a trade-off, right? Um, and definitely when your pants start to fit a little bit snug, you can get in. Like I said, that's all you focus on, and you forget about the good stuff. So that kind of pros and cons sort of thing, and you can't have it all at once, right? So I
Oh
definitely.
yeah, that's the whole joke about like okay, don't mind my language, but that's the whole like, do you want ripped abs or do you want do you want
But
ass and boobs? Right?
it's
So I'm like,
true,
dude, my boobs are way bigger this year, but you can't see my abs as much for sure.
right?
Yeah.
Right. And honestly, most women cannot maintain like abs at or a low body fat percentage, and also have energy, sleep well, have thick
Yes.
hair, have a cycle. Like it. I feel like the whole fitness thing in the fitness world just really skewed our perception of health and what it's supposed to look like, you know?
Well, I was talking to my friend who's a bikini athlete, and we were talking about even in that world, it cycles, right?
Hmm.
So when they're coming up to a show, they cut down really low, and you can see absolutely every muscle in their body, but they don't stay like that. Like you can't stay like that. You have to then like eat a certain amount of calories, come back up, increase your body weight, increase your lifting weights, and all da. And they go through this particular cycle. And any athlete who's training all year, they have like off season, on seasons, they taper. So like even when you're looking at someone who's extremely athletic or competing in form and fitness, figure like bikini athlete, whatever, they don't maintain that like super ripped look all the time. I think that's a huge fallacy that people
Yeah.
don't realize.
Yeah. And there's actually one, I think she won. She was the Miss Olympia of this year, Laura Lee or something.
Mhm.
And I really like her because she shares both sides of it. Right. I just absolutely loathe when people only share when they're super lean
Yeah.
and like they only post pictures of that time where they don't have the other side of it. So it can give this skewed perception that they're always lean, where your energy is going to be so bad, your relationships are going to be horrible, your relationship with food. A lot of like bikini competitors also deal with a lot of binge eating after post show, because that's a very normal thing that your body does when it's in a lot of restriction, right?
Yeah.
So I really like her in terms of just having that contrast and seeing her at a higher body fat percentage. And she's like top, the best of the best athlete, right? But they also have those off seasons where their body can
Yeah.
recover,
There's
right?
some people though, like I believe it's Tia Claire. She's like I think that's her last name. Yeah,
Yes.
and she is like the top female CrossFitter in the world for like how many, like a ridiculous number, like 10 years or something.
Yeah.
I don't know exactly, but it's a lot. And when you watch her, and then she had a baby and she's like right back at it. And I don't know if I don't follow it like super intensely. But I don't know if she won or she still placed really high, and you're looking at it and you're just like, what? Like, this is like fittest woman in the world sort of thing. And I wonder sometimes genetically, or even just like the way a person is raised and operate, where they have like a higher threshold for that extreme stress on their body. Because
Yeah.
otherwise, I'm like, I'm going to say for any normal person, like, how is that even possible?
I know. I know who you're talking about. And I also wondered that exact same thing, where she was even really lean as a pregnant woman. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like you could still
So,
kind of see her abs. And there's a lot of pregnant women too who are pretty lean. And I was like, whoa, what the heck? But like again,
well,
to each their own.
but I wonder though, no, but I like, okay, sure. Oh, you're going back to your relativistic view on me, Haley. Come on. But no, I was actually thinking though, like depending on where you live and how your body has adapted, like think about like
Yeah.
Kenyan runners, right? If you're from Kenya, there's such this like long history of long distance runners. I got that right, right?
Yeah.
Sorry. Yeah.
Yes.
So you're looking at me kind of blank stare, like, wait, did I
Yeah.
say that wrong?
I'm like, I'm waiting for your next sentence. That's what
Well,
I was
no,
saying.
but my point is, I'm like, it's almost like it's been passed down through generations. Not to say if you're from Kenya and you sat on the couch your whole life, then you're not going to be a very good runner. But it's like both ingrained in the culture and the epigenetics and all of that combined. So
Yeah.
I feel like it's like that for certain sports, right? You look at certain sports and you're like, there seems to be people from a certain area of the world tend to dominate that sport at the Olympics.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. And I
Anyways,
think
that's
that,
just kind of a side note, but it's just an interesting thing to observe.
yeah, it is interesting and just kind of, I guess, proof that your body can just adapt to whatever environment you expose it to.
Yeah,
Um,
over
so,
time, for
yeah.
sure.
Yeah.
So, like coming back around to what you said about some of the body dysmorphia and the feelings that we can have about our own body image. How do you walk alongside someone through that process? Because I know, oh man, like mentally, emotionally, this can be such a challenging thing.
Yeah.
What do you do? How do you help them?
So a big focus on what we focus on inside of my programming is your confidence level and, again, self-worth, self-image. Are you a woman of integrity? How can we do that? And how can we practice being a woman of integrity? And also setting boundaries, right? It's usual as like the way you talk to yourself is how you will accept someone else to talk to you. So a lot of internal dialogue shifting where if you can't hold a boundary with someone else, that also means that you can't hold a boundary with yourself. So if you're constantly judging yourself, you're going to let other people judge you. So what goes on in your brain and the way that you speak to yourself is so, so huge, right? So we do a lot of internal dialogue shifting, reframing. So when we do have these negative thought patterns, how can we shift them into something that we actually believe? I do love affirmations. However, I love affirmations that you actually believe. So sometimes when someone is like, I just absolutely don't like the cellulite on my legs, and there's no way that I can look in the mirror and say, I love my body, when that's not a super tangible or believable thing, in which case, like, use affirmations to believe something that you can actually believe, or at least have that bit of a stepping stone, in order to get to a place where you actually respect yourself and you do love yourself. So for that instance, you can say like, oh, I don't love my legs right now, but I do love the way I feel. I love how I show up for other people. I love how hard I work. I love that even though I feel uncomfortable right now, like, I'm accepting where I'm at. And piggybacking on that acceptance, I'm not actually a huge believer in body positivity. I am a believer in body neutrality. So being super neutral. Because what I also find, if you go high on self love and, like, you know what I mean, you can
Yeah.
fall just as hard. So rather than having these highs and these lows, if you're neutral about it, that means you can be neutral at a higher weight, and then you won't self sabotage as you progress in your fat loss journey. Because again, what I see is like self sabotage can go both ways. So if you're at a higher weight, your body loves homeostasis and it loves to stay the same. So as you lose weight, people will have these thoughts and these internal dialogues going on that causes them to self sabotage. And a lot of that has to do with body image, and then they revert back. They gain the weight back, right?
Yeah.
So changing that and just getting yourself to accept where you're at every single step of the way, and not hold as much value in the way that you look to the world, is a huge aspect of that. So you can actually maintain that and actually become somebody who deserves those results. It's a lot of identity shifting because we act out of our English, Haley, our identity.
Is your brain okay? No, I'm just
I get into these things where I talk too fast and then I'm like, all words mesh into one word. But identity shifting is a huge thing that we focus on as well. And very not spoken about in fitness. I feel like everyone's like, oh, it's just macros, it's just workouts and all of this stuff. Well, okay, cool. But what about the self sabotage? What about the mindset? If you can't accept yourself where you're at, how do you expect yourself to accept yourself, where you're going? So,
I love
yeah.
that. I love that you use that term body neutrality. Once you said it, I think I've heard you say it before,
Mm.
but I kind of forgot about it. I have no idea why. Just forgetting everything these days. I'm kidding. But body neutrality makes me think of even like food relationship, where I always say food is fuel. It's like I'm not like, oh my gosh, I love this certain type of food so much, and I'm gonna cry. Like I've been trying to talk to my 12-year-old about this. I'm like, just because we're not having something that you like for breakfast doesn't mean you should just be crying about it. Like we're gonna eat eggs every once in a while. I know you want pancakes every morning, but like we're switching. Like we always cycle in different things, right?
Yeah.
And so we were kind of having this conversation about like when you tie up too much emotion in your food, and when you tie up too much emotion in your body image, it's that same sort of thing. So I love that neutrality component. Thank you for bringing that up. That was
Yeah.
really good.
Yeah. Of course.
And then identity shifting. Can you expand more on that? Like what does that process look like?
Yeah. So, one is acting in how you want to be. So, one, that's going to be very uncomfortable at the start, and it's supposed to be uncomfortable, especially for myself. Like, when I can bring this back to when I was like in my ED days, because what's normal and what's comfortable isn't always what's best for you. And if you know that you need to change, you do need to get uncomfortable and you need to start acting how you want to become. So bringing that back, like I didn't want to eat more. I didn't want to gain weight. That's not something that I wanted to do. But if I wanted to get my cycle back, if I wanted to be free with food, if I wanted to actually like maybe have a family one day, I had to change. And so every day I visualize what that person would do on a day-to-day basis. I also write down goals, and I get my clients to do this as well. Write down 10 things that they want to accomplish and look at it every single day, at least 3 times a day, and make sure that your calendar and your schedule looks like someone who would be doing that and accomplish that. And it's inevitable for you to get to that place. It's just the compounding of the small habits that you start to obtain over time. And then you look back and you're like, wow, I have completely changed my identity. And you get to these goals. Like if you can think back to a year ago, you probably have a lot of the stuff that you wanted to. And that's what I see a lot of with my clients too. Because the more you focus on it, and the more habits that you build around the goals that you want, it's literally inevitable for you to become that person who deserves it. So, in terms of like tangible things that we do, it's goal setting, smart goals, realistic goals, and also keeping them front of mind. So many people, especially like January 1st, you set goals and then you forget about them. But in reality, it's not the goal. Like you need to just keep consistent with it and compound it. It's just the compounding over time. Everyone has a very skewed kind of mindset towards goals, and they think that, you know, you're going to accomplish them in a week or a month. So rather than thinking in weeks and months, think of years, because it does take a long time to change. But that's okay. Like you have your whole life. Like release the timeline, right? So
Yeah, that's good. So, can you give us an example? Because when you say 10 goals, that could seem intimidating.
yeah.
So, how detailed are they? Like, will you give us yours as an example, or can you give us like a generic example?
Yes, let me pull up my goals here that I look at every single day. I
Okay.
have
Sounds
12
good.
actually. And it's
Oh,
not even that
overachiever.
it's not, but it's this is like goals that I want to achieve in my lifetime. Like it's not within the year. There's no
Mm.
time to this. Like this is just what I want to achieve. So I have 10K followers here. Not achieved yet.
Hey,
Um
you're getting closer though.
I am getting closer. See? I have Buy Back My Time. So I've read the book Buy Back My Time by Dan Martell, and that's something that I want to imply into my business. Like I don't want to be an employee of my business. I want to be a CEO of it. And so in order to do that, how am I acting
Yeah,
towards it, right?
that's
Am
good.
I letting people do their job, or am I psychoanalyzing everything? You know what I mean?
Micromanaging.
Yeah,
Yeah.
micromanaging. Like how am I acting towards that goal that I want, right? I want to buy a house. Check.
You bought it?
Yeah.
What? Oh, good job.
Yeah, heck yeah.
Congrats.
5,000 subs on YouTube. That's a big goal of mine for this year. I want to do more YouTube, and also
Yeah.
Fresh and Fired Up, subscribe to our YouTube channel.
Yeah.
I want
We need
to
to pick a number for us.
Yes, I
Not right
do.
now.
Let me what's our number? 1,000 for starting at
1,000.
1,000.
We're going for 1,000. Okay, go.
I want a wiener dog.
I love
Justin and I
that.
talk about this literally every day. So
Aw.
it's coming. It's coming. I want to semi stay at home with my family. I want to raise my kids that way. So again, like creating something that I can do from home.
I love
I
that.
want to really like disconnect and take one big vacation a year. So that's going to be Hawaii this year.
Oh, that's exciting.
Yes, and I want to remove myself from the process of again my business. So kind of buying back my time and letting people do their job. And so at the end of my list, I have two quotes that keep me kind of grounded, and make it feel less overwhelming, because I also am a very big energy person, and I believe energetics And like if you feel good, good things will come to you. And that's super prevalent because I've had a lot of good things come to me soon in the past like month or so. The quotes are walk around like $10 million is going to be deposited in your bank account next week. Like, really embody how that would feel. Like, you wouldn't have any care in the world. You'd feel good. It'd be like careless. Yeah, I'm good. I'm taken care of and I'm safe. Like, I really love how that makes me feel. And then the second one, I think I've mentioned this on the podcast before, but it's more to do with like being grateful. And as morbid as it sounds, it says someone in their 20s is in a hospital bed, be grateful and let fun lead the way.
Ooh, I like that.
Yeah.
Thank you for
So,
sharing that. That's
yes.
really cool.
Yes, of course.
Yeah,
So
and
those
I
are a
love
few
the
of them.
level of detail but there's not an overwhelm there. Like, oh yeah, it's a good blend.
Yeah. And so when you look at that and then you look at your calendar, like again, are you doing what you say you're going to do? Does the process like outline step by step how you're going to get there? Like you can say that you want to lose fat, but like what action steps are you taking? Are you just is that just your goal? It's not a goal at that point, it's just a dream,
And what's
right?
your why? What's your why behind that
Yeah.
anyways? I think that's a really
Exactly,
big thing.
exactly. So just getting really it's such an again, identity shifting. You have to become this person and I feel like that's such an underrated aspect of this whole fitness thing and people are just like, "Oh yeah, I have a workout program and macros and I still can't hit my goals." It's because you're just stuck in old ways and if you don't change that, then you're just going to be stuck
Yeah.
forever.
Well, it's interesting too when you brought up energy, like even just money carrying energy, and when you that last quote or the second last quote about walk around like walk around like a you didn't say
Walk
billion.
around like
Yeah.
$10 million is going to be deposited in your bank account next week.
Well, something I learned when I was right out of school, and it made me think of that, was when I was fresh out of chiropractic college. It's like, man, we had dropped so much money into education. You start out as I started out as an associate doc, making a lot less than I thought I'd be with a doctorate. That's kind of how it starts. And I just felt like I was like, you're broke, man. You just spent like 8 years and you kind of like financially, there's nothing to show for it, right? And so you kind of have that in your mind, like you're a broke person, right?
Yep.
And I mean, that being said, yeah, we had like very tight budgets for groceries and like living in a basement apartment and all those things you hear in the stories, right? But it's interesting because something that really stuck with me was I think it was a book I read. It's like start carrying cash around in your wallet. And because it's just like it just has this energy to it. And it's like, okay, if I've got a couple $100 bills in my wallet, now I'm going to get mugged after this episode. But if even if you have $100 bill, a 50, a 20, like a few different bills, I can't believe I used to not ever carry cash. And I can't believe how much it changed how I feel about I have money. And the biggest reason I'm bringing this up is because it changes the way you feel like you can give to others.
Yep.
So, for example, you're just wherever and you've got your kids and you've got like their friends at the park and there's the ice cream truck and you're like, oh yeah, I can buy you some, and you just pull out your cash and or you give them each a five and they go get their ice cream, whatever it is. But my point is like it's available for you
Yeah.
and you have it and it's like there. It's like, see, I got money. It kind of reinforces that.
Yeah, exactly. And it's belief shifting too. Like if you believe that you're broke, you're going to be broke, right? Fortunately, I grew up not feeling that way. Like I feel like we grew up very abundant. And so I have a great mindset towards that in terms of money exchange and energy exchange, which is why I've been able to grow kind of as much as I have, which I'm super grateful for. And like some people do grow up broke or money's tight and they're not allowed to get whatever they want and they have this belief system ingrained in them. And it's not the fact that you can't get to a place of abundance. It's just like you're starting at a different place than I did. Right. So
Yes.
it's not like, oh, you're screwed because you grew up broke and now you have this belief system set in your brain. No, like do what you just did. Like carry some cash in your wallet
Yeah.
and
And I used to
give.
divvy it up too. I used to be like,
Yeah.
this much is for like food, this much is for giving, this much is for, and then you stick to it for a while. And then all of a sudden, if one of that's for saving or for wealth building, all of a sudden you start to build that and you start to believe that you can. And then it's the same thing for like when you said, when you feel like that you know something. Like I remember going through, I got a fully paid tuition scholarship for academics in university. And I was a grade A student. And I was like, I'm going to keep this the whole way. And I just decided in my mind, I was like, this is already paid for. And it was every year. You're able to maintain the scholarship if you got like above a certain grade level.
Mm-hmm.
And so again, it's like, but I believed that I could do that. Like it was almost like a non-question in my mind,
Exactly.
right?
Visualization and like the energies and belief systems are so powerful. It's because that's how you're going to act. People act out of who they are as a character. And so you
That's how
have
it
to
ties back in with the
yeah,
body image though, too.
exactly. So, like, thinking back to when I did have my eating disorder, like, I acted out of someone who was super insecure, and I totally was. Like, I got into these horrid relationships where I let people step on me, and that's because, like, I didn't hold myself. Like, the boundaries that I held with myself were so weak. So, obviously, that would kind of manifest in my external world. And so, it's completely different now since I did the self mastery and the self healing. And obviously, I still have a long way to go.
It's
Um,
well, it's a continuous lifelong journey.
Exactly. Exactly. But I'm in the best relationship I've ever been in. And it's not because like it just happened. Like things don't just happen, right?
Yeah.
It's self mastery, I think. And fitness and health is one of the best ways to practice that. And I believe like everything is just principles. So how you do one thing is how you do everything. So it's going to show up everywhere: career, wealth, relationships. So like mastering your fitness and mastering yourself, I think is so powerful just because it does spew into all the other buckets of life, right?
I agree. And I want to tie it back into a previous episode. If you go back and look through the episodes, we did, I don't know if it was us or if it was before you were on, but it's on the accountability ladder and how to hold others accountable, but mostly how to lead yourself, how to hold yourself accountable. And you can go back and listen to it, but the top 4 tiers is where you want to live on the ladder. And it's like there's a line in between. There's 6 things below the line and 4 things above. And if you're below the line, you're not holding yourself accountable. And if you're above, you are. And the top 4 above are acknowledge reality, which you brought up already. Like you need to acknowledge when you're doing affirmations, you need to acknowledge how you actually feel or what your
Yeah.
actual reality is. And then own it. You have to own that reality. Like, I am going to take ownership for this. And then you have to solve the problem that you're trying to solve. And then you just have to do it. Like, you have to take
Yeah.
action.
Yeah.
And I love how it lays that out. And it's like, if you're living in a place of good character and accountability with yourself in taking action towards your goals, like you talked about the goal list, but shifting your identity and your frame of reference around how you feel about your body is what we're talking about today, or even your food relationship. I think those 4 things apply really well. Acknowledge reality, own it, solve it, do it.
Yeah. Those are actually the 4 steps of transformation. It's
Uh,
awareness, intention, and then changing and discipline, right?
mm. Yeah, no, that's so good.
Yeah.
So before we close off today, what are something? So if someone's looking for your coaching, Haley, tell us a little about where they can start. And then I know you've referenced lots. I know you've helped lots of women with eating disorders, but I know, and you can expand on this if you want, that you've really just helped a lot of women with even just their food relationship. They might not actually have a eating disorder, correct?
Yeah. Yeah. I feel like anyone who's been on a diet has some sort of skewed relationship with food in their body. It's just a byproduct of it. And in terms of like how we start, so I do have an application in terms of like, um, can I even help you? Right. So I'm not the best coach for everybody. So that's kind of where we can weed out like, am I going to be the best coach? Am I not? And then we hop on a free one-on-one call. This is just a discovery call where we go over biggest struggle, your goal, how we can get you there, and like a game plan. And then once we sign on, then we go through your onboarding, and then we get to it. So it's pretty seamless. I've really tried to make it as clear as possible. Feel like being in the online space, it can be sort of confusing, especially when everything's virtual. But it's super one on one, and I try to make it that way. I'm not so much of a group coaching person. I feel like things get lost in translation, and once things get confusing, you're not going to get the results that you want. So I want it to be as clear as possible. But that's where we start.
I love that. So, great place to start. Make sure that you share this episode with a friend who is going to benefit from just getting a better relationship in order with their body image, with their food relationship. Haley is such a great resource. So, make sure you like and subscribe this YouTube channel, Fresh and Fired Up, but also go find Haley because she has her own YouTube channel that's super fun. You have all the like behind the scenes and all the fun things.
Yes.
So we love and appreciate you guys. Click the subscribe button, leave us a rating and review. And in the meantime, be free, feel fresh, and live on.